Hi guys, and welcome back to Maltbox, the non-chill filtered whiskey blog. I'm Andy and I'm back here today with another whiskey video. Now, the world of whiskey can be a very confusing place. There's a myriad of different types, different countries, different distilleries. Now, there's also a very, very different range of things that you can drink it from as well. So what I thought I would do is just a very high level run through some of the glassware that is more commonly found to drink whiskey and or other spirits and drinks. Now, full disclosure, this is not an exhaustive list. I've got 5 glasses in front of me, 5 different types of glasses that are filled with the same liquid. That liquid being, in this particular instance, Deanston's Virgin Oak. A really nice single malt. I think I've reviewed it. If I've not, I probably need to get to that at some stage. That, as it sounds, has been finished in Virgin Oak. So there's going to be some toffee, a bit of spice in there. So I wanted a whiskey that kind of stand out a little bit. Now, again, lots of different whiskey glasses out there. Very, very confusing place. Each company's like, this is the best whiskey glass. Now, full disclosure, spoiler alert, it's all down to the individual. However you feel more comfortable drinking your whiskey. Also, never let anybody tell you how to drink your whiskey. If you enjoy it with water, great. If you enjoy it with ice, great. If you want to put Coke in it, I don't care. Just drink it. That's what it's there for, you know? Live your life. It's too short. So, into the glasses, I'll show you what I've got first. I have a nice glass cut tumbler, crystal tumbler. Oh, lovely ring. I then have the Norland Glass. I have forgive the pronunciation if it is incorrect, the Irish Tuath glass with a funky little bottom there. We then have, which one to do first? I don't know. Let's do this one. Let's do the Glencairn. We've got a Glencairn as well, the stalwart of the whiskey tasting world, and a stemmed wine tasting glass / capita. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off by nosing all of these from that way, and just basically telling you a little bit about the glasses, what you can kind of expect, and roughly the sort of prices you're going to be looking at as well. Again, guys, it's all down to the individual. I don't have every whiskey glass in the world. I don't have a 1920s blender's glass that are very popular, for example. I did have one, but it smashed, so I didn't bother buying another one. Too delicate for me. Anyway, so the rocks glass. This is the kind of glass that you'll see all over the world. It is the most simple form of whiskey glass you can imagine. It's round, it holds liquid, it's got a flat bottom so you can't knock it over or smash it. Probably this one is very, very heavy, very, very dangerous in a very angry man's hand, I think. Ultimately, what you're looking for a whiskey glass to kind of provide a lot of intense aroma and arguably flavour is for that aroma and or flavour to be pushed into a narrow avenue into your nostrils. Bit more direct. This isn't going to do that. Now, yeah, I can smell that it's whiskey. I can smell that it's sweet. There's a bit of honey, a little bit of maltiness and some spice, which I'm going to expect from Deanston Virgin Oak. However, even swirling this, I'm not going to get much more than that. I have to get my face right in there, I can nearly fit my entire face in there. Now, again, these things are very, very common, very cheap. Lots of different styles. You can get them from places like TK Maxx. You can get them from charity shops. Again, this is crystal, hence that lovely extended ring. What I would warn you about, the one thing I am going to warn you about, if you go into charity shops in particular, or thrift shops, or thrift stores, as you might be calling them in the States, if it's crystal and it's older, it will be lead crystal. Lead was used in the production of crystal glass. The higher the lead content is going to depend on how old that glass is. The older it is, the higher the lead content. If you buy, for example, a high lead content decanter, like an antique decanter, over time, if you store something in that decanter, it's going to leak out. That lead is going to leak into your spirit, into your water, whatever you're keeping in it, which isn't good. That's not what you want. These can range from £1 or 50p from IKEA for a very basic one with no kind of cut glass on it or anything, to anywhere up to 50 quid for a posh one. I think this was a pack of 4 for something like £10 from TK Maxx. On to the next one, we've got the Norland Glass. Now, the Norland Glass already stepping up in price. We're looking at about 20 to 25 quid for this. That is expensive for a glass. You will see that it's got quite a unique profile in the sense that you've got two layers. You've got the little whiskey glass on the inside there. You can see there, the little shape of it, a little bit of a tulip shape. And you've got this sort of second external insulated, if you will, glass layer. Now this was designed to give you some form of nosing element because you've got the shape of the glass in there, but it's also supposed to be easier to hold, a bit more like this. You can really get your hand around it. Now, the one thing I will say about the Norland, again, bit delicate. This one so far has survived, but they are quite pricey. So let's see what this offers on the nose by comparison. A little bit more intense. Now, I'm not saying that I'm going to be picking necessarily a load of other flavours up on these. For me, it's more about how intense that aroma is. Do I have to go searching for those flavours, or are they just going to be there straight away because it's been funnelled accurately and efficiently into my nose holes? A little bit more, I'll be honest, probably not as much as I was expecting. A lot of it will depend on the shape of the glass. For example, let's just skip ahead very quickly to the Glencairn. You've got a bulbous element at the bottom where your whiskey sits, and as you can see, it's funneling it upwards, it's tightening, it's going like that. So it's going to push all that aroma up through a very small hole. This is kind of going the other way. The internal glass on the Norland kind of goes in, but then goes back out again. So I think you lose some of that intensity. Expensive, I'll be honest, for what it is. Next, the Tuath glass, which is the self-styled Irish whiskey glass, which I think is kind of a little bit of a way to kind of put their own stamp and identity from Tuath when comparing themselves to the Glencairn. Glencairn, historically, I mean, it's a Scottish company. It's synonymous with whiskey tasting and whiskey nosing. That is like the daddy of whiskey tasting and whiskey nosing glasses. And Tuath have kind of tried to bring an Irish version, I think. There's probably something significant and a sign or something about the bottom. I can't tell you, unfortunately, I don't know. This one's JJ Corey branded, very, very nice. You can already see, again, the shape up and then out again. A little bit like the inside of the Norland, but a little bit more, well, sharp. I find it always important, and you'll see if you do watch all my other videos, I swirl the glass. Some people think it's just posturing. For me, I just like to coat the outside of that glass, the inside of that glass, sorry, very quickly, and just let that whiskey stick to it. The higher up the glass it is, the closer to my nose it is. Again, the spices, the honey, the maltiness, a little bit of pepper. I'm finding that I'm still having to go searching for it though, I'll be honest. I don't think there's too much difference between the Tuath and the Norland. Maybe the Tuath's just got a slight edge on it. Now a Tuath glass, I think it costs about 10 quid. Now onto Glencairn. Again, I mean, this is branded, this is Craigellachie. This, again, is the granddaddy, if anything. Not just the daddy, the granddaddy of whiskey tasting glasses. If you Google whiskey glass, chances are what will come up is a picture of this. Particularly if you put something like whiskey tasting glass, it will come up with something like this. Now these retail normally for between £5 to £7 or £8 for a single glass such as this, if it's plain. They do crystal versions as well that are upwards of 40 or 50. I'm clumsy, so I try not to buy too much crystal. I mean, I get given these at festivals, you get given them at tastings, you can get given them with promotional stuff. I, for example, have ordered a bottle today and one's coming with it for free. Now again, swirling around the glass, and I think, you know, the reason that Glencairn has been so successful is they've got the basics of design right. You can hold it kind of like that while you bring it to your nose. The shape of it is the right shape, it's got very smooth lines, it funnels it into this very tight tulip shape, and the hole at the top stands to reason is going to be providing a little bit more of a directness into your face. And straight away, it blows the other three apart. A lot more intensity, a lot easier to find other flavours in there. I'm getting a very distinct maltiness in there. There's some black pepper, a little bit of vanilla, and some toffee. Bit of fruit maybe. And I didn't have to search for it as much as I did in the other ones. And I think that's the thing. You don't want to have to exhaust yourself trying to taste a whiskey. That's the Glencairn. Now, the next one, the reason I'm doing it last is because I use these for my tastings and my videos. They are the glasses that I bought for the whiskey club that I used to run. And the reason is cost. I've already said I don't like breaking stuff. I'm a bit of a cheapskate. And the whiskey glass, well, the glass, should I say, that I'm going to look at next is this. Now, this is a wine tasting glass, a 6-ounce wine tasting glass. You could also call it a capita. It's a little bit bigger than a technical sherry capita. However, ultimately, it is a stemmed tasting glass. Now, the fact that it's marketed as a wine glass means that this comes in packs of 12. I paid around, I can't remember, not much. Under 20 quid for 12. I think it was something like $17.99 for 12. So you're looking at just over £1, for a glass. Now compare that to Glencairn at about average, let's say £7, 2 out of 10. The Norland, 20 odd, which is 20 times this. And a tumbler around, well, rocks glass about £5, for example. So let's just see what this has. This isn't crystal, this is just normal glass. It's easy to clean, I'll be honest. Let's see. And I kind of like the stem because I like to hold it like that. And also you can kind of hold it like that to warm it up. Now, I'm just going to show you the difference in shape. So, again, the Glencairn is very much bulbous and then narrows. The wine tasting glass is a lot more gentle, but ultimately it ends up being the same shape, except it just doesn't go in quite as drastically in the middle. And for me, it's very, very similar to the Glencairn. I don't have to go searching for those flavours as much as the other three in the range. I've just hit the microphone, sorry. I've just been gesticulating. Maybe I have to go in for an extra like sniff or an extra smell just in case, but it's just, they are very, very similar. And at the end of the day, it's a wine tasting glass. You taste wine in a very similar way to whiskey. What does it look like? Which I can see through the fact that it's glass. What does it smell like? What does it taste like? What does it feel like? Is it good? I mean, that's pretty much the end game, isn't it? So, I mean, my preference would be one of these two, to be honest. And again, I lean towards these because they're cheap. But it's each to their own. And in terms of drinking whiskey, again, guys, the glassware selection here is not exhaustive. I mean, I've got 3 of the different types behind the microphone that I'm not even going through because they're kind of similar. But I mean, you can get, for example, the neat glass, which is a very bulbous glass that then goes out like that at the sides. You've got the 1920s blenders glass that made a sudden appearance in the last sort of 10 years that's become very popular. However, they're about 20 to 30 quid a pop. I got one and I smashed it within a week. Very, very delicate things. That's a big, long, thin stem and a bulb, effectively, with a tiny little neck piece at the top. Anyway, and as well, while we're on the subject, drink your whiskey, again, how you want it, guys. Don't let anybody tell you how to drink it. Ginger ale, ice, water, it doesn't matter. The only thing I'd say, personally for me, I find that ice, I mean, when you chill something down, the particles will move slower. When you warm something up, they move faster. So by putting ice in your whiskey, you're probably not going to find it smelling quite as intensely because those particles are going slower. They're not bouncing around the glass as quick. They're not coming into your nose. If you warm it up in your hand for a little while, you'll find that it will become a little bit more receptive, a little bit more open, a little bit easier to kind of pick some of those flavours and those aromas out. But it's each to their own. Cool. Well, guys, thanks for watching. I hope this has been useful. Again, I'm Andy. Please feel free to subscribe if you want. I'm on Instagram, @MaltBoxWhisky. I've also got maltboxwhisky.com. Thanks for watching. See you soon.